Okay, we're at the time for public participation. Joe Slusher, I understand you have some things you want to talk about. Come on up.
If you could, just come stand here. That is the best camera angle.
So you can stand with your good side.
I'm here today on behalf of the Fountain City Festival. I am the current board president, and our name has come up in the last couple of board meetings about space usage. And we wanted to at least have a presence here and maybe have a voice in some discussions and goings on, because I know not everyone is involved end to end on how it works in terms of usage of the space. We've been involved with putting on these shows for the last 17 years and have kind of gone along the same path without a lot of disruption. And we'd like to keep that relationship cordial and be as flexible as we can possibly be, because we're a community benefit organization. We want to be here as a resource for the community, and we don't want to bogart space that doesn't need to be. So we're here just to represent our willingness to be flexible and to work with other partners, and to thank you for letting us utilize this space and provide this benefit to the community. So.
Great, thank you very much. We're all excited as we're getting ready for our new facilities. We want to get it right because we want it to be a community building. So thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Any other comments or questions for Joe? Okay, Cindra, you have Fort County Career Center report.
I do this month. Fort County students held their 9/11 ceremony, which went very well. There was some press in the Bryan Times. I saw a picture, so that was nice. Also, Fort County will be holding their Fall Advisory Committee and Wall of Fame dinner, which will be held Monday, October 19th. I want to announce that the daycare is now open, and the salon and cafe will be opening very soon. So next month, hope to have that, those dates, or be able to tell you they're open so the public can go out and use those. Fort County students and staff are very excited. They now have new fixtures in the Health Careers Department, which include beds and side tables. I was told that they were very old, so this gives the students a better idea of how to work with them as they enter the workforce, because they're very, very close to what they would be using. And one last thing, Fort County Career Center is now on Twitter. I don't tweet. But they are available to be tweeted, is that what you call it? You young people need to, is this, yes, I'm getting, yes. Hashtag Fort County News. And their Facebook page, which we are not on Facebook at Fort County, will be coming very soon. So that's my update.
Thank you very much. Rob, you're up.
Okay, look at the financial reports for the month ended August 31, 2015. We'll start with the cash reconciliation report. Our deposits at Farmers and Merchant State Bank totaled $12,640,667. Outstanding checks and adjustments, $20,074. Investments at Star Ohio, $3,232,059. At Morgan Stanley, $36,502,393. And at State Bank, $4,005,724. Change funds and petty cash funds total $7,750. Total deposits $56,368,518 as of August 31. Some of our financial report information here will show your fund balances. On the FinSum report, our general fund balance was $13,267,584. We received our real estate tax settlement in August, so that made that fund a little higher than normal. Our bond retirement fund, $1,212,723. Permanent improvement fund, $2,282,959. And our construction funds, our LFI portion, $3,295,409. Our local funds for the project, $31,841,771. And our state funds, $3,735,822. Those represent most of our major funds. Once again, total balance is $56,368,518. Any questions on those reports? If not, we'll move on to amended appropriations. Our appropriations at the end of August totaled $25,331,387. Changes during the month, an increase to food service fund of $3,336, to the athletic department of $524. Additional monies for our auxiliary service funds, $20,041. A permanent improvement fund, an increase of $4,396. Our building project LFI fund, an increase of $7,816. Our building project local and state share increases of $168,706. Uniform building supplies, $64, and concessions, an increase of $300. Total increases during the month, $205,183. Any questions there? Okay, some donations this month we'd like to recognize. From the varsity club to the high school girls tennis team, $200 valued in t-shirts. And from the Bryan Kiwanis Club to our BHS Robotics Fund, a donation of $100. We'd like to ask the board's authorization to advance $75,000 from the general fund to the food service fund. Our funds continue to be tight. Last year we had an advance which we repaid at the end of the year, but until we get some of our federal monies back and get the school year started here, our cash flow is a little bit tight, so we're going to need to advance some money this year as well. So we ask approval for an advance of $75,000. And finally, approval to pay Vanessa Perk an additional 1.25 hours per day that she worked during the 2014-15 school year. The employee worked these hours and was authorized to work them by her supervisor. However, we did not get that through board approval. So we're going to go back and take care of Mrs. Perk and compensate her, but we need board approval to do that. And I'll have the other
Motion
item.
at that moment?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Rob? Comments? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve his financial recommendations.
Also move.
Sandra, second, please.
Second.
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom got it. Please call the roll.
Tom?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
And finally, we have a change order for the construction project. This is to Rudolph Libby in the amount of $43,595.14. These are for structural steel that was bid in GMP 1. There were some design changes and so forth in our drawings that necessitated some additional structural steel to be added to the project. So this represents the cost of doing that.
Okay. If there are no other questions, I need a motion to approve Rob's recommendation.
I'll move.
Brian, please, second, please.
I'll second.
Sandra, please call the roll.
Brian?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
I'll abstain.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Under old business, Diana, do we have anything that we need to discuss there? Construction update?
We do. Under construction update, unfortunately, I did not receive our monthly update from Rudolph Libby. We do have our next core meeting a week from this Thursday, the fourth Thursday of every month. We meet as a core group. As far as our weekly progress meetings, everything went well last week. Everything seems to be on track. If you drive by the building, again, more block is being laid. They're working on the music area as well as starting the gymnasium area. They are waiting a little bit on some structural steel for the second floor. That is causing a little bit of a delay right now, but they expect to be able, especially with the good weather that we have forecast for the rest of this month, be able to make up that time. So Rob or Tom, is there any key points? We did approve the change order tonight. You'll see some approvals for some contracts later on related to the project, but
I think the precast concrete was another area that there's some delays, and Rudolph Libby is
Yeah.
going to meet with the vendor, I believe this week. They're taking an entourage to the vendor this week.
Yeah, that's, in my conversation with Rob, that was the issue. Several weeks delay from whatever reason.
Nearly 4-week delay,
Yeah,
and they were going to
they-
try to get that
They were gonna
worked back to.
work at trying to get it back to a more reasonable period of time. I think they were able to get the structural steel, in talking with Rob, I think he indicated They were gonna get the structural steel for the gymnasium a few days earlier than what was originally anticipated, so that was gonna allow them to proceed on the gymnasium. So it's the, kind of situation that occurs on all of these. I mean, there's, you fall a little bit behind on this aspect, but someplace else you hope to make it up. Overall, I think they're doing well. I think they're pleased with where they're at. The masonry is going up quite rapidly, to the point where, the structural steel and the precast concrete now become the sort of the limiting factor. So I think overall, they're still in very, very good shape.
And we will be hosting, the last time I met with Lynn Clady, who's the interior designer out of Beilhardt's Architects, and we're contacting manufacturers to set up a furniture fair for our teachers and staff to take a look at and really see and touch and use or try some of the furniture for students and for teachers. And so we'll set that up this fall. They call it a fair because we just set it up for a week or so, and the staff can come in and look at it. And she does a survey then on what they prefer, what they like, what they don't like, and try to get some guidance as we move forward and get some input from the staff in regards to the loose furnishings. So that is coming up this fall. Lynn's working on scheduling some dates for that.
Okay, anybody have any other questions about that? Do you want to discuss the group use of school facilities now and talk about our?
Yep, absolutely.
New
So, a while back, we started talking as a board about the use of school facilities, and the board had some concerns regarding the policy and the scheduling practices and asked me to look into those. So in meeting with Fountain City Festival and Joe and representatives from them, and in talking with staff, meeting with both our previous athletic director and our new athletic director, there really are some concerns moving into these transition years. This is our last year to have all of our facilities available, and then next year with the middle school being under construction, that's going to provide some limited use. Even though we'll have the new building open, we're still going to be limited to what we can use. So we're going to have to be very careful about how we schedule and making sure we're following policy. So I just want to go over and review for the board some summary points of what I found. And I shared these with you previously, but I want to share them publicly as well. So really we were concerned about maintaining consistency and trying to balance that community and in-school usage. And I believe that priority that's listed in our current board policy needs to be maintained. So currently, anything directly related to the school or the operation of the school is the highest priority for scheduling. Uses and groups indirectly related, such as athletic practices, music practices, academic, theater groups that are directly related to the schools, are the second priority. Meetings of employee associations are third. Uses for voter registrations and elections. However, at this time, it's been a very long time since our facility's been used for voting purposes. Next, we have departments or agencies of the municipal government. This would include our city Parks and Rec department, which schedules and uses our facilities for community activities and community just basketball, volleyball, different exercise classes. Other governmental agencies, and then community organizations or groups of individuals formed for charitable, civic, social, religious, recreations, and educational purposes. And then finally, commercial or profit-making organizations. We have very little use of our buildings for commercial or profit-making. So it falls in the range of schools, related to schools, the government agencies, and then the community groups. So in the past practice has allowed for those who are employed by the board as staff members or volunteer coaches to use the facility and to be responsible for the supervision of the facility. In these instances, custodial coverage has not been required. The staff members come in and take care of the building and make sure it's secure when they leave. The building contracts that we've been using have been reviewed, and I shared those with you previously, and they have been updated so that we can really reflect what information we need today. Previously, as we discussed as a board, Sundays were to be left off the calendars for students. However, there is a need on both sides, both athletically and through the arts and community groups that conflict with one another. There's a high demand for the use of our buildings. That usage continues to grow, and we want to make sure that we're being a good community partner as well. As Joe mentioned earlier, we want to make sure we're trying to stay balanced and meet the needs of all. So my recommendations to the board, and I'll open it up for questions or discussions, but my recommendations would be to leave board policy 7510 as is. I really feel that the policy outlines the procedures and provides a good, solid foundation for what we want to work from. I would recommend that we leave the guidelines the same. I would recommend we update the contract and that we approve the new form. My apologies, I don't have an actual copy with me, but I've shared that with you earlier, and I can get that to you if we want to take action on that tonight. My recommendation would be daily procedures, which all come through this office. First of all, in working with Eric and the coaches and any staff member that wants to use our building for whatever reason, that all staff, full-time, part-time, volunteer, be in-serviced and re-educated on what it means to be responsible for our buildings, to respect our buildings.
Do we have anything in place right now for the coaches, do you know? That as they say, okay, if you're gonna be a coach, you're gonna have a practice here, make sure you're doing.
That's why we want to re-educate, to make sure that we're all
So
on
you're
the same
basically
page.
doing it for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Also about how to schedule through the building calendar. There's too many times where we have someone that just comes in because they know the facility is open and they may or may not have looked at the calendar to see that there was a conflict. So we really do need to re-educate all of our staff, our volunteers, on how to schedule and what the expectations are when you're assuming responsibility for that supervision. I would recommend that all events, whether they're internal or external, they have to be on our master school calendar. We've run into too many times where there's a scheduled event and someone comes in and says, well, I have it, and there's a question of who is priority. If we all schedule through the same person, we all schedule through the same office, everything's listed on the calendar, we can minimize those disruptions. And that contracts, as I mentioned earlier, for building usage be issued for any activity that we have going on that's not directly related. Like, for example, we wouldn't fill out a contract for every home basketball game. But for music lessons, for play practices, if they're going to use our building, we want to fill out a contract so that we know. Because the contract is really just the administrative guideline that you're going to keep the same, and it just lists all of the expectations for them. So by signing that contract, they can't say, well, I didn't know that I was responsible for this. I would recommend that Sunday usage be allowed. Again, I'm looking to balance and have consistency. I'm also looking to address some of the crunch of space. I've been asked by both athletics, music, academic reasons for meetings to be allowed on Sundays. I've denied them up to this point, but I would recommend that we change our position on that. For June, for the summer, we do have a group that would like to reserve the auditorium on an annual basis. They fit in with our mission and with our goals, and so I would like to offer that space in the auditorium to them the first weekend in June. And this would be for the Fountain City pageant. And then as per past practice and as per what we do with everyone else, we would hold this date annually for them. And they would renew it as long as they're in that situation and want to renew their contract. With Fountain City Festival, in respect to them, we would allow them to reserve the auditorium beginning in mid-June and ending with their performance in July, or sometimes it bleeds over into the 1st of August, just depending on the calendar date. That would allow them a full 6 weeks. Now, if no one else has reserved the auditorium in June, then I would like to be able to call Fountain City Festival and offer the facility to them early. just again, dependent upon any other usage at that time. And then finally, my recommendation would be to continue to allow events to be scheduled up to a year in advance, and preference still be given to those that we know are annual events and groups that schedule every year. For example, the dance recitals, the community concert series, the Fountain City Festival, the pageant, and so on. So those are my recommendations. I've provided you with lots of information, so questions or clarifications that you have.
I have a couple of questions. Could
Okay.
we restrict the Sunday, use the facilities to Sunday afternoon only, noon or after?
We certainly could.
I mean, do you have
I
an issue
think
with
it's a
that?
great idea.
Do we have, I was gonna ask, I don't have an issue with that
No, 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 that's
specifically,
fine.
but do we have a policy, Eric or Diane, I don't know, for athletic, for varsity practices on when they can and cannot practice? Like, do we prohibit varsity sports or
Wednesday
any
after
affiliate
6.
sports? I know we do on the
Yeah.
Wednesday thing, do we on Sundays tell them?
I think Sunday's a no unless it's approved.
Yes. In the past, you are correct. The written policy states Wednesday night by 6. All activities must be concluded.
Okay.
We don't have a written policy that addresses Sunday. However, up until this point, the only Sunday practices that have ever been approved have been in, for example, a tournament game that gets assigned on a Monday night and the team wants to come in and do a shoot around on Sunday, or we've had wrestling practice, again, because of a tournament or something scheduled where we've allowed them to come in, but it's always been pre-approved up till this point.
Okay.
Well, and by putting it on the calendar, it's still going to be technically approved.
Correct.
Prior to. But
Correct.
the change for Sunday, I don't have an issue with afternoon, after 12 o'clock. I don't really want to see anything going on in the mornings. That's generally family and church time.
Mhm.
I had a question. You talked about annual renewals and Fountain City Festival in particular, the period of time that they're going to be in there. Will that be exclusive use for the entire period of time? Or would that be available for other groups that are not annual, that might be a one-time thing?
Well, certainly in the past, Fountain City Festival has worked with us with those one-time events. And we would be willing to work with them again, but unless we had, it depends on where they are with set building. Again, in talking with them, their set starts being built. We're already taking away 2 weeks of time that they had for their plan, so they're gonna have to adjust their plans to make sure that their timeline fits now in this window. But I don't wanna speak for Joe, especially with him here, but I certainly believe that if we had a situation, the latest one that I can remember is Bryan Area Foundation wanted to present a speaker, and that was during a day performance, and we worked with Fountain City Festival to
Because
allow
that could be
that to
something that
happen.
could close the curtain, use
Yes.
in front of the curtain only, so those kind of things would
Those
still
kind of
be
things are not a problem.
available.
It's when they need to use the stage if the set is already being constructed.
Okay, I understand that. And again, all the approval and scheduling would be through the superintendent's office. so
Correct.
You would have ultimate authority. It's not your responsibility to make those calls or decisions.
Correct.
And do we have anything for organizations, and I'm not referring to Fountain City Festival, so, but do we have anything for organizations that would come in, like I had heard a story of one organization coming in and just reserving a long block throughout the year of a certain day and time, even though they don't really use the facility on that day and time. How do we prevent or address that? I mean, do we have something in place?
Again, if they're reserving it and they're using it and they're a not-for-profit or it's a,
But they're not using it, is what I've been
Why
told.
wouldn't they be using it, for example? I mean,
They
just wanna have it kind of a
they
just in
ju- they-
case?
They wanted it just in case.
I don't
well,
like the just in case.
Well, and that's what I get, that's one of my concerns, is there was a incidence of that I was told happened.
It
with
would
the
just
in
have to
case.
be-
Auditorium or sporting? I mean, gym use?
It was gym use.
well, we would just have to be made aware of that so
Okay.
that we could, because I'm not aware of that situation. Again, it comes down to communication, and
Yep.
if that's going on, then somebody needs to make us aware so that we can look into it and make a decision on what's best.
Okay.
But that in general, that has not come to my attention.
When you anticipate that you would be able to schedule a training for the use of buildings? What's
I
the
would
next
want to
teacher
do that
day,
as
or-
soon as possible. I think that can be done very quickly. I think it's just, again, sending out the policy, sending out the administrative guidelines, making sure the staff understands what the new expectations are, and holding them accountable. If we find that they're in the building and they did not fill out the proper paperwork, addressing that issue as it comes up.
Any other
I agree.
question?
No, I feel comfortable.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement. Do you need to make any, I don't know that you need to make any adjustments to the form?
We did adjust the form.
I know you did some on the one that you sent out, but the one as currently proposed, do you want to wait until next month to approve that?
We can, or,
Is there some reason? That's why I'm saying, nothing that we've talked about will change that,
No.
other than if you, do we need to put in the policy about Sunday afternoon or no? I guess we don't need to, as long as
I don't
that's understood as a guideline.
I think it's in the policy now.
it's not in the policy now.
The Wednesday after 6 is
The
Sunday
Wednesday
morning
after
is
6
the-
is in policy, yes.
For consistency, it probably should be.
Sounds like it.
It's fine.
I believe that that's in the athletic handbook. I'll have to do
Like I said, I'm just talking about
You're talking about
consistency.
mainly sport type activities.
any
Anything.
activity. She's requesting that if we do open up Sunday, if I'm restating it correctly, that nothing be allowed to be scheduled before noon.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't there church groups that
Yeah,
run?
I was gonna say, is that just athletics or like
That's for
currently someone's
everybody,
using
right?
They're,
Washington?
Well, it's
Well,
Washington for
you would
church.
exclude, I
Yes.
Yeah.
think, would
Yeah.
be
Yes,
excluded
there.
in church-related activity, church
Just to make
service.
sure.
Yeah.
Cause they're using it right now.
You walk a fine line
Yes, sir. Gotta allow them.
there. Yeah, if you're gonna allow them, you gotta allow everybody.
So for that reason, I would maybe recommend we not put it in policy and it just be a guideline that, or a directive from
I would say
you.
directive from the board that unless it's religious-based, normal Sunday morning thing, I don't want sport things in there, I don't
No,
want.
I agree
don't
with
want
that.
cultural
I
things
understand
in
what
there.
you're saying.
Okay.
And then again, if this going through my office, if it schedules, and then hold me accountable.
Sure.
That's,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
All right. So, question again. Are we ready to approve the form as presented, or do you want to wait until next month and make sure it's clean and everybody gets a copy?
I'd like to look through it one more time. I know we've been signing the form, but since,
Okay.
Okay?
So put it on the agenda for next
Next
month, we'll
month.
actually approve it.
My only concern with that is if you've got people who want to start trying to schedule things now, you're gonna wait another month, which is gonna put us into October.
We don't typically approve forms. The board typically approves the policy. The guidelines are written from the policy, and the forms are written from the guidelines and the policy themselves.
So as long as the directive in the superintendent's office is this how we want it to go, the form is not necessarily the most critical piece, but
Correct.
the understanding
Okay
of
with
what the
that.
policy would be.
Correct. And typically, the board does not approve the forms. We've changed the
Well,
form format
Policy.
as long as it follows the policy.
Okay. So next month, bring that, immediately schedule, or, as soon as available, training on what building use is and how to schedule. All right?
So just bring a report back to the board on the staff training?
Yep.
That'd be great.
Okay, and
then,
it's
like I said, the
okay
form for-
to open up and start using the new guidelines?
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
are we,
I'm okay with it.
okay.
Thanks, Diana.
Rob, do you have any other, you got what you need for the minutes? Okay.
I would like to ask just one issue, since we're talking about board policy. I know Neola has not been particularly responsive. Do you want to address that right this moment, or not really?
They're getting better. I talked with their CEO, and we've got their attention, and we got our policies the next day.
Great.
So I think that problem has been taken care of, and when we attend our Capitol Conference in November, we can look. To my knowledge, there's only 2 companies that provide this service. Neola has the biggest customer base and the biggest market share, And then OSBA also offers this.
I didn't know if there were any others in the market at this moment,
No.
because I know Neola's done a pretty good job in the past.
They
about
have. They
Providing
just-
our online policy book so that you can look things up right
Yep.
from the website, and there's just a few glitches.
They have been very good, and like I said, getting their attention did not hurt.
Good.
And I've been told that our district is listed as a top priority, so the next time that we send in
Great.
our
That's awesome.
revisions, we should get them much quicker.
Glad to hear that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything else under new business? You ready? for
Nope,
your
I'm ready to
recommendations?
move into
Okay.
recommendations.
Go ahead, thank you.
So administrative recommendations, we just have one commendation, and we'll maybe have Mr. Roofer update this, but congratulations to the girls tennis team on which at the time that this was a 12-0 start.
They're better than that now.
We have a third-party service agreement for Title I. This is, again, some federal money that goes through, it's actually money for Defiant City Schools, Fountain City Schools, and St. Pat's are the three entities that we work with. We are kind of a flow-through, so we go through that contract. Resolution prohibiting UAVs, or commonly known as drones, and you can see that exhibit. This came as a recommendation from OHSAA, puts us in alignment with OHSAA current guidelines, and Mr. Roofer did research into that. So if you have questions, he or I could answer those.
Are you aware of any issues that have come up since
Not
we
yet.
started fall sport?
Not yet,
sports?
but we are aware of issues that could develop over the next week or so.
Week. Oh, great.
So we're asking that you approve
Timely, I
that.
guess.
This is very timely. Agreement with BGSU for field placement. This is for educational practicums as well as student teachers. And then a resolution waiving the middle school career technical requirements from ODE for this school year only. This is a new mandate coming down from ODE. They're still not sure on what it exactly looks like. Most schools in the area are signing the waiver for this first year so that we can give ODE time to develop the guidelines. On your addendum, we have two contracts for approval. One is a contract with the Northwest Ohio ESC for student services for the 15-16 school year. And then the second is related to our construction project. It is a lead contract, and that has been reviewed by our school attorney and recommended for approval. Back to the regular agenda, we have the MOU with the OPSI union. This is to address the calendar and makeup days for their union employees. We have approval of the career advising policy. Again, another mandate from ODE that says by September 30th, we will have our model career advising policy in place for grades 6 through 12. So I worked with Chad Bassett and Mark Rary to form our policy, and I included that as an exhibit. And then two MOUs with BEA, or our Teachers Union Association, one to address calendar and makeup days, and one to address a date of pay change for them on a one-time only basis. So all of those exhibits are included in your wiki, and I would entertain any questions that you have over any of those contracts or MOUs or policy changes.
Just an observation, what is the difference between the career advising policy that we're required to have and the middle school career technical?
That's a great question, and to be totally honest with board members, I got confused myself. So I thought we could waive the career advising policy up until about a week ago when, again, getting updates from ODE, I was reminded that the policy is for grades 6 through 12, and we are required by law to review this every 2 years to make it available on our school website and to provide for students, parents, guardians, and custodians. The career advising policy just outlines what Mark's building and staff are going to do with respect to helping students plan for career readiness in general.
This is additional requirements under this model career advising than what you're already doing, because I know you do different career
Right, we do
readiness,
different things throughout the school years.
especially as the kids are
achievement.
getting ready to decide if they're going to
Right.
Fort County and things like that.
Right.
So
The
this is
advising
just an
policy.
additional layer?
Right, it's just basically a summary of what we offer to
prepare students for career readiness. And we already do have a lot of things in place, which we did highlight in the policy. And just kind of overviews all of that and lays it out. So if anyone had a question as to what we are doing to prepare students for career readiness, we have something we can point at.
I guess that's my confusion, because I know we're already doing a lot of it, and so this is just one more layer.
Just one more layer, one more requirement. And then going back to the middle school career tech, so it's the legislators' vision, and along with ODE, to expand career technical education to students in grades 7 through 12, not just students in grades 11 through 12. So to expand that program, and the questions of what does it look like and how does that expansion happen and what does that mean for Fort County, those are all questions that we've been kind of waiting for answers on. And because we don't have those specifics, like a model example of what does this look like, again, that's the recommendation for the waiver, to allow ODE to kind of get in place what they foresee as this vision, this expansion. And I don't know, Cindra, if Fort County is,
Just touched on it, just barely. I think Mr. Meister is kind of,
Kind of wait until we get it
yeah,
together.
yeah, just kind of
Yes.
waiting, the way he's, talked with us, that it's just a wait and see kind of game at this point. He doesn't even want to think about it with everything else that's out there
Right.
going on, so.
so, other questions?
Anybody else? Other than that, I think we're ready then to approve your administrative recommendations. Do we have any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the administrative recommendations.
So moved.
Tom, second please.
Second.
Brian, please call the roll, Rob.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, resignation for the purpose of retirement. Beth Syracusa, a high school one-on-one aide, will be retiring effective September 30th. We also have a resignation from Tom Hall for his noon kindergarten preschool bus route only, and that's effective September 19th. On your addendum, we are transferring Audra Dixon to that high school one-on-one aide position, 6.25 hours per day, effective October 1st. On your main agenda, approval of FMLA leave for Garrett Roan. We're hiring a part-time second shift custodian at Lincoln for 4 hours per day, Aaron Hughes, 184 days per year at 0 years experience, and that was effective August 24th. And then Amanda Figgins as Washington educational aide, 4.75 hours per day, 0 years experience, effective August 31st. We had some corrections to our classified personnel hours due to some student changes. Shelley King should be at 7 hours per day, effective August 19th. Vanessa Perk at 4.75 hours per day, effective August 19th. And Candy Retcher at 1 hour per day on Monday and 4 hours per day Tuesday through Friday, effective August 19th. Supplemental contracts for Megan Lytle for Academic League Advisor and Jessica Mitchell for Middle School Quiz Bowl Advisor. Mentor teacher to Catherine Gabriel in High School Social Studies. And then a list of substitutes for both teaching and classified for your approval. Any questions regarding the personnel recommendations?
If not, I will entertain a motion to approve, please.
I'll move.
Brian, second please.
I'll second.
Cindra, please call the roll.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave some time for reports for our administrators, and we do have a reception for our new teaching staff this evening. So I would remind you that your reports can be short, to the point, so that we don't keep our new staff members waiting. However, we would like to introduce them. So as you each come up, we'll maybe take who's here and introduce them on camera. But we'll start, while they're getting their teachers, Mr. Roofer, we'll start with athletics. And remember, we've come over here.
Kind of few minor updates, basically. We've got two sports that started a little bit earlier than most, beginning August. It's girls tennis and golf. Golf, they actually got rained out last week. The Golden Bear invite got rained out. It's kind of weird. It rained a lot in the morning and it turned out to be beautiful. I wish I was out there. But that got rained out, and they will play in their league match this Friday over at Allways, south of Defiance. And then I think it's the next Thursday, they play in their sectional over in Clyde. As Mrs. Savage said, girls tennis has been having a heck of a year. They're now 17-1, and I think their one loss was to Ottawa Hills. It's traditionally very strong. So they've had a really nice season, especially with that 12-0 start. And they wrap up their regular season this week, I believe.
Correct.
I think it's
First double
last
still
one, so-
undefeated?
We
As far as
have
I know.
first doubles still undefeated, second singles still undefeated, and third singles still undefeated.
Great.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So they'll be looking into tournament time here too. So those two kind of started before everybody, kind of end before everybody a little bit, or at least wrap up their regular seasons earlier. Cross country, they went to OG last week. Boys were 10th out of 18. Girls were 9 out of 13 there, and then they go to Van Wert this weekend to run again down there. Volleyball, they're off to a better start than they were last year. They're currently 5-6. They're at Edgerton tonight. So we'll see how that turns out. Girls soccer, they've kind of got a funny one. They're 4-3-3, 3 ties. Don't see that a whole lot, but that's where they're at. They play at Evergreen this Thursday. They're home to Evergreen this Thursday. And then boys soccer's 3-5. They play in Napoleon Thursday night, and I believe they have Defiance this weekend. JV and varsity starts at 11. Be out there. Football is currently 0-4. They play Swanton this Friday night. They've been going through some growing pains, but there's a lot they're working. Talked to Coach Redhead quite a bit. And, he's not pleased with where they're at, but I think he sees where they're headed and has some high expectations for them. So that's pretty much where we're at athletically. We do have a couple of junior high programs. I'm sorry, I don't have records for them right offhand. Volleyball's been up and down a little bit. Football, in the 8th grade, I think they've won 1 or 2. I think they've won both of theirs, and 7th grade's lost 2 of theirs. So they'll continue their seasons on.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions for me or anything?
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Bassett.
Good evening. First of all, we kicked off Cub Club today. We welcomed over 50 kids, K to 5. So nice turnout for first day. We're still going to gather some more kids as we go along there. A lot of kids were excited to get going again. They look forward to Cub Club, so need to get that started. October 12th to the 21st, we're going to celebrate National School Lunch Week. Yes, it's more than a week because we have so many classrooms to get through in the cafeteria space. We can't feed all of first grade parents at once, because we do get a great turnout for that. So we invite our parents of our elementary school kids to come in and eat lunch with us that week. We remind the 4th, the middle school, and the high school parents too that they're welcome anytime if they just call in advance. They're welcome to come in and eat lunch with their child. Last, the update from the testing world with the state. The big meeting in Columbus was that they are going to release our test results from last year. There was speculation whether they were going to or not. They're going to release those in October. It is a safe harbor where it really doesn't hinder anybody, especially the teachers. But it will be nice to kind of take a look at those and see how we performed, even though it is the park that's
Do you anticipate that they'll be lower just because of all the trouble with the park testing?
Yes,
Online
the
testing?
state released some preliminary kind of cut scores, like ranges.
And they're
where
pretty
schools
low.
are at, and
They're pretty low.
They're pretty low. So yeah.
That's why the park is out, right?
The new tagline is our new test are Ohio developed for Ohio students.
I think you can still make some comparisons there because you can look
But
at
if you
our
move
sample
14 miles this way or 22 miles this way,
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
go ahead.
No, that's.
We could spend a
Well,
whole
and
hour
right
on
there.
testing.
I don't want to get you riled up.
All right, Chad, can you let them know? All
I think
right.
they're bashful.
Again, we invite all of our new staff members, whether they be teaching
Come on this way, come on
staff
this way,
or
Kevin.
educational.
We kind of work our way
Yeah.
behind you, because
Okay.
there's really a large number of them.
Nice. I guess so.
We're gonna kind of do it in 2 waves. We're gonna do pre-K to 5.
Wave at the
and
camera
then
when you walk by.
6 to 12. All right, so I apologize, you guys have to turn, but this way at least they'll be on the camera. So again, they're gonna go ahead and introduce themselves and their title and what they do. The only thing that I want to bring up real quick with Washington and Lincoln, I don't know if Chad, if you mentioned it, I apologize, but National School Lunch Week is October 13th to the 21st at Washington and Lincoln. So flyers will be going home, I think already if they haven't already, so just want to put a plug in for that. So, all right, we'll start here with Kelly. Just again, tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay.
All right.
Hi there, I'm Kelly Dean. I am a teacher's aide at Lincoln Elementary, or paraprofessional, if that's what you call it. So,
Sure.
either way.
I'm Kathy Ottenweiler. I'm also a paraprofessional at Lincoln Elementary with second and third grade CD classroom.
Hi, I'm Kathy Detweiler, and I'm the kindergarten intervention teacher. When they invited me, they said, new teachers. I'm like, no. So I should get to know. So I am not new. That's true, that's why I came. Yeah, so I'm in kindergarten, back to kindergarten again. I appreciate that.
I'm Chris Hoopy. I teach first grade math.
Julie Scribner, fourth grade intervention and co-teaching in language arts with Amber Doble.
Hi, I'm Chris Miner, and I have fourth grade science and social studies.
I'm Stacy Knopfsiger, and I have 3-6 art.
Hi, I'm Casey Clemens, and I'm third grade intervention.
Hi, Amber Doble, fourth grade language arts.
Hi, Trina Fryman, preschool.
Aaron Hughes, second shift custodian at Lincoln.
Excellent. So these are our elementary, and we're going to invite them to stay first for a picture for the Bryan Times, and then also for cookies and refreshments. So we'll funnel you back out, and we'll let you sit there. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good, how are you? Good.
Stay for cookies.
Good, you. Bunch of them this year.
Yes.
Was she apprehensive?
Very.
I'm glad you made it for us. Good.
Yes, she loved it, which was great. Yeah.
Leaving the brigade here.
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
Half the staff.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Rob.
Jamie.
You're looking snazzy today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so at the 6 to 12 level, we are thrilled. We have numerous new staff members, as you can see, with a variety of experience levels, bringing a lot of new attitudes and great change as we prepare for the future as we keep moving forward. So it's been an enjoyable start, and I know a lot of the veterans have taken them under their wings, which has been refreshing to see, get them led in the right direction, and everything is going really, really nice with them. So we are very appreciative to have them here. So we'll just go right down the line and introduce ourselves and our title.
All right, I'm John Ely. I'm running the in-school suspension, and I also am doing online school monitor.
Grant Redhead, 7th grade history, also football coach in weight room.
I'm Adrienne Mojica, and I am the lunch and library aide.
Hi, I'm Lene Arps, and I teach 4th through 8 special ed.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Redhead, and I teach 8th grade science.
I'm Jessica Mitchell, and I teach 7th grade science.
I'm Jamie Schofter, and I teach 6th grade social studies, 1 unit of social studies, and 3 science.
I'm Judy Smith, and I'm a one-on-one aide in Mrs. Gold's room.
I'm Josh Schmidt, and I teach 6th grade math and social studies.
Jennifer Marvin, and I am the resource room aide and do lunch duty at the high school.
All right, welcome to you, and again, we'll stay for a picture and for cookies and refreshments. So we welcome you, thank you very much for coming. We'll give them a round of applause as well.
Good, how are you? Good, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm not sure.
I
Need for executive session?
I do have a need for executive session to update the board on letter A, appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation of an employee, or investigation of charges or complaints against an employee, official, license, or student. I don't expect any action, but I do want to just have an opportunity to update the board.
Okay, could we adjourn briefly, go out of that?
Absolutely.
So let's take the motion for executive session now.
So moved.
Tom, second please.
Second.
Cindra, please call the roll.
racks my brain.
Where's your list?
Tom.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Emily.
Yes.
Cinder.
Yes.
Did I say yes?
You did.